I'll start our model right away by giving you the material information. As you can see, I have this sequined yarn. Its thickness is almost the same as knuckle Paris. I used about 1.5 balls of knuckle Paris yarn. I used about 6 balls of this yarn. 50 grams of this yarn is 150 meters long. It went a little longer than that, just so you know. The process is as follows. You bring the two ends together, and that's how you start knitting. Here's the piece I knitted. I wanted to show it to you before joining. Let me show you up close. You can even work without sequins. You can also work with different yarns. The choice is entirely yours. We have only one trick. Our length will be 3 times our width. I started with a width of 30 centimeters here. So I knitted a length of 90 centimeters. Let's say you're going to start with 20 centimeters. Then your length will be 60 centimeters. As I said, the length will be 3 times your width. That's the first rule. I'll show you the model with a different yarn, not the same one. It can be a little difficult to knit with sequins. So, to be honest, I don't want to overthink it. Now, I've crocheted my chain with any yarn. As I said when I started my chain, this is a 30 centimeter wide bag. I crocheted my chain to be 31 centimeters. We're now assuming it's a 31 centimeter chain. Look, I've crocheted my last chain. I'm going to insert the hook into the top of the first loop next to it and make one single crochet. You make single crochets into all the loops in sequence. By the way, while crocheting this bag, I used 2 yarns and a 4mm crochet hook, just so you know. As I said, it's purely to show the pattern. It's still tight, but just in case, I'll try to show you a different yarn as well. As I said, we make our single crochets into all the loops in sequence until the end of the row. Like this. Yes, we've reached the end of the row. We immediately make a chain. We turn the work to the wrong side. We immediately start our single crochet. Again, by inserting the hook into the first gap. We will make one single crochet into each of the gaps you see here and continue until the end of the row. It's a very simple pattern. You might even be able to make it in a day if you're free. Or rather, let me put it this way. It's a model you can make in a maximum of 2 days. It's made only of single crochet. At the end, we'll sew the UCP Unified Crochet hook. We'll add the strap detail and finish our bag. If you wish, before sewing the inside, you can cut a lining to the size of your piece. Sew the lining first and then join your work. Sewing the lining after sewing the work might be a bit more troublesome. So it's better to do the lining beforehand. Look, I've reached the end of my row. I'm inserting the hook into this last stitch. I'm making a chain. I'm turning my work. I'm inserting the hook into the first gap I encounter and continuing to the next row. As I said, for a 30 centimeter wide bag, I worked a large size of 31 centimeters. I made a 31 centimeter chain and continued the entire row in single crochet with these 2 yarns. Now I'll show you how to join them. Look, our bag is a long piece. I'm taking this corner point from this edge and folding it here like this. I'm pulling it. I took this from the bottom. I folded it upwards like this. On the other side, while doing the process, this time I take it from the top and fold it so that the ends meet. I'm talking about these corners so that the ends meet. Our edges are like this. As you can see, my area is small, so please excuse me, it's not very clear. Now, let me show you. Hold it from here. Let's hold it from here and throw our bag like this. Let's straighten it like this. Let me show you again. Look, this is our corner point. I'm adjusting our other corner point to match these corners, and then I'll sew this and the other side that remains at the back. We can start sewing right away. I've joined one edge, as you can. Now we'll join it again from this corner to here. I threaded some knuckle par yarn onto my needle. I'll start sewing from this bottom corner. Let me align it with my corner points again. I'm making the entry from the corner like this. I leave a little yarn and tie a knot. I can run this from the inside like this. Yes. Now I'm sewing the counterpoint a few times. By the way, it doesn't matter which surface you sew. You can sew it from the front if you want. Or you can sew it inside out, right side out. It doesn't matter because it's single crochet. The front and back sides don't look really detailed. Especially if you work with an Paris stitch, both sides will look like they're plain. Look at this. We sew one stitch with each row of single crochet, like standard digit. I wasn't wrong when I said it. I think it's probably the easiest bag in the world. I'm sure even my daughter could easily make it. There's nothing that can't be done. The logic is very simple. I just think I haven't shown the folding parts in enough detail. I hope I've explained it in detail. I hope you won't have any problems. As you can see, I'll sew up to here and cut the thread. Now I have a piece that I'll use for the strap detail. If you have one without holes, you can also do it with a needle. No problem at all. I threaded my sewing thread through the needle, making sure it's as close as possible to the same color. Now I'll make the strap part. You can make the strap part differently. Look, these are my straps. These two. First, I'll sew it right here. Then I'll bend it like this. Let's start with this one too. Look, let me show you again. This is our strap part. I'm opening it up like this. When I place this, I'm adjusting it so that the corners align with the edges. Let me show you. When the two corners align like this, it will be neat. First, I'll sew this part through these holes. As you can see, I've sewn one edge of the strap, as I said. Now I'll sew the other edge. Let me straighten my bag. When I hold the strap, I'll sew it again so that it comes to the corner point. After sewing this here, this time I won't cut the thread. We'll bend it like this and continue by connecting the holes here and the opposite holes together. Let's align them again like this. Yes, let's sew this again. Yes, I also added a small snap detail here. As I said, I've sewn the strap. Now I'll show you how it looks on the mannequin.